Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Two Dudes with Attitudes. I'm Mr. MWO, and with me, as always, is the honorary dude himself, Mr. Shooting Star Press. What's going on?
Oh man, technical difficulties here, but things are looking up. Yeah, it's WrestleMania season, so things are always positive during WrestleMania season.
It is definitely popping. And yes, we did have technical difficulties. Your computer and then my internet downstairs. Yeah. And so we were running all over the place. 40 minutes late. Fantastic.
Yeah. But we're not a dollar short. We'll be all right.
Never. Not a dollar. Not a top dollar short. No, that's yes, right. Sir. But yeah, man, it's WrestleMania season. It feels like WrestleMania season. Raw and SmackDown are obviously pushing their storylines big time. NXT did a whole bunch of storyline movements. So whether you thought the action was good or whatever else, they were doing their thing. They're moving forward to WrestleMania season, which we are 3 weeks away from. So pretty exciting stuff. And we're back to our normal. We're doing our Wednesday, but we will let you guys know that we will be doing our AEW episode tomorrow. So we can't do Friday, but we're going to do Thursday. So we're giving you back-to-back. So we gave you back-to-back the same day. Now we're going to do back-to-back days. Let's see. Maybe sooner or later, you guys will be like, you know what? We'd like the Wednesday, Thursday. Or maybe we'd like the back-to-back. Let us know. I mean, we don't have to always do Wednesday. Whatever works for you guys.
We're dudes of the people. So whatever you guys want our schedule to be, we will make it happen.
As
long as it's during the day.
Sorry, I work at night, so I can't do real podcast timing for live shows. Yeah, too bad, because I'm assuming we'd have a lot more people watching if we were in a good time slot, 5 o'clock, 8 o'clock Eastern time or something like that, 7 o'clock Eastern. But maybe one day. You never know. We'll see how big this podcast. Maybe when we're getting paid off of it, you know what I mean? We can do it whenever the heck we want. Yeah. But yeah, the build's been good. I think we're going to talk about it. And you did a good TikTok this week where you were asking if you thought the WrestleMania build was good so far. And I was surprised that some people were saying no. I truly can't remember a time when WrestleMania was built this strong and storylines were this epic. And I was very confused. There's also all that news going around about Bray Wyatt and, amongst other things going on in this world. So maybe people are upset about that. Although someone sent me a thing just recently saying that Bray Wyatt is going to wrestle at WrestleMania. So I don't know what's going on, but that's neither here nor there, right? They didn't announce it on Raw or SmackDown. So
yeah, there was no mention of it whatsoever. So yeah,
who knows?
Maybe they have something in the works. Maybe we'll find something out on SmackDown this week. And, I don't know. There's just the rumor is he's out with a undisclosed physical issue. Mm-hmm. And that can mean anything. That could mean he has COVID-19. That could mean he is just taking time away to clear his head for mental health. It could mean a bunch of different things. And I don't want to speculate as to what it could be or anything.
No,
but
yeah,
certainly whatever he's going through, hopefully he is back for WrestleMania, because I want to see that entrance in person. Selfishly, I want to see that entrance in person, and so yeah, I hope whatever Bray's going through, he gets back soon.
Yeah, it's pretty good too. It's pretty good. Well, I heard people were saying too that it was something to do with he hurt his elbow or his hand, or he had hurt it before he came back or when he got back, and that's why he wasn't wrestling. So there's all sorts of. Who knows? Or maybe he's just realizing, me and WWE don't click, and I need to figure myself out because they don't. Maybe he shouldn't have came back. I don't know. Maybe he's more suited for AEW, or I think he's more suited for Impact. I think he's right up Impact's alley. I don't think they can pay him enough, but Impact likes that kind of stuff. Yeah, Impact literally killed somebody and buried them once. They came back to life, but I mean, still they
stabbed. Was it Eric Young, right? Did he get stabbed?
Eric Young, yeah, he got killed, but he hasn't come back. So I'm assuming he's coming to WWE. Dead. Yeah, supposedly, right? But there was someone else around the same time that they buried. I think it was the same crew, wasn't it? And they literally buried him alive. And Then like 5 weeks later, the guy came back with no dirt on him. I thought he was going to be like covered like in dirt and like worms. And I thought they would like at least like make it more, committable. But anyway, it's WWE Wednesday. We got a lot to talk about. Let's get this show going. It's SmackDown. SmackDown. And yeah, man, I'm going to start off. Let's start off with the Usos. So I have been a huge bloodline storyline advocate. I have pushed for it. I have talked about how if I was voting for the Emmys, I would have nominated it. I think this is the best storyline ever in wrestling history. People say it's NWO, and the person who created the NWO even said the bloodline is a better storyline than the NWO. NWO started off strong. Like the start of the NWO is better than the bloodline start, but overall, this bloodline storyline is by far the greatest wrestling. There's nothing better. No one can change my mind otherwise. So I was looking forward to Jay. Jay finally turned on Sammy, as we know, last week, and I think we were all curious on what was going to happen. What is Jay going to say? And he basically just came out and said that, well, obviously I'm going to turn on you. This is my twin brother, my family, and basically the end. And there wasn't much to it, which was kind of weird because they were twin brothers when he was siding with Sammy this whole time. And they were twin brothers when he decided to go take a hiatus. Like, did he just have to like sit around and realize it? I thought there'd be more. I thought there'd just be more to it. Like maybe like a hint of, Jimmy was threatened and I gotta pick Jimmy because I have to look out for my twin brother or something in that aspect, or which he kind of hinted like, like you're the one who turned on us. No one told you to hit him. And even though I was conflicted, you did this, not Roman. Roman was still supporting you. You did it. That's why I turned, at least to like he's being forced to kind of turn on him. It just kind of seemed like, yo, this is my twin. This is my family. You ain't my family. The end. That's why. And then out comes Cody Rhodes. It was just real. It was like the most this is the first time in a bloodline storyline that's been moved that I was kind of like, meh. And then Cody comes out and starts talking mess about how, whatever, he's not. Cody came out on SmackDown, right? Yes. Cody came out on SmackDown. Sorry, because like I said, they're all Raw and SmackDown now are all like the same stuff. But Sammy didn't come out on Raw. So then Sammy comes out again and puts the beat down. Cody comes and saves him or whatever. They fight into the crowd and then they end up like lifting up and raising each other's arms. And I get why they're doing this, and it's working. I don't want to say WWE needs to change anything because Cody's super over right now. The crowd seems to love it. He's getting pushed. People want to see him wrestle at WrestleMania against Roman, but I do wish they would keep them separate. I really wish I think we can have Cody and Sammy feuding with the Bloodline without them interacting. Like you can have KO and Sammy's thing with the Usos and Solo Sikoa. And then you can have Roman and Cody just focusing on each other with Paul Heyman getting in between both. I think they can do that. And I maybe they're not because Roman's not on TV all the time. So you need to keep Cody busy, but have Cody and Paul interact, have Cody come out and cut a promo, have Cody beat somebody like he did like an LA Knight and then move on with this. I don't think you need to get him involved all the time. I would like to see them separate just because, I don't see the point of them together, but what do you think? Overall, did you like it? Did you like the Jay promo? What were you thinking of this?
It missed from, it was okay. It missed for me. I was kind of expecting more out of it. Like you, I was expecting him to come out and say exactly what you said, that, he had to, he didn't want to, he had to come back to the Bloodline. He didn't want to turn on Sammy, because Jimmy was threatened by Roman. I'll also say that I think that I was a little disappointed that Roman wasn't on SmackDown. I was under the impression he was going to be on SmackDown, considering he ended the previous episode saying to Jimmy, if you don't get Jay in line next week, I will. And then he said, if I'm not going to take it out on him, I'm going to take it out on you. Mm-hmm. And so I took that to be a tease that Roman Reigns was going to be on SmackDown. I thought it meant, okay, they're going to advance this story next week. And then there was no Roman Reigns at all. Maybe I read into that a little too much. I don't know. But I was kind of looking forward to seeing a Roman Reigns, Jey Uso encounter because I think that would have been better than the Uso promo, because then we could have maybe gotten to the truth of, I didn't want to turn on Sammy. I did it because you threatened my brother. I didn't forget how you treated me at Elimination Chamber. It was exactly the way you treated Sami Zayn. But I'm here and I'm all in, but I'm not all in because of you. I'm all in because of Jimmy. That kind of stuff. That's what I wanted to see. And I think if Roman had been there, we would have gotten that.
And maybe we will. Maybe we will in the future. Maybe. Yeah.
That was my only gripe about it was I kept waiting for Roman Reigns to show up. I'm like, okay, he's gonna be, and then he didn't. And I kept thinking, like, didn't they tell us he was gonna be on SmackDown last week? Or am I looking too much into that? I don't know. But when he said I'm not gonna take it out on Jay, I'm gonna take it out on you, I took that to mean he will be there. And
that's what.
But anyway, it was the promo in general was a miss for me. I think it could have been done better. And then I also think that I agree with you that they need to keep Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes separate. I think this is WWE trying to prove a point that Cody Rhodes is the guy and Sami Zayn is not the guy, by having him get involved in all the bloodline business when it just feels random. On the Raw before, Cody Rhodes came out at the end to stop the Usos from their beat and Solo from their beatdown on Sami right after Jay turned on Sami. So Cody Rhodes randomly came out, and then him and Cody are randomly teaming and fighting into the crowd on SmackDown. So it kind of feels like it's WWE's way of saying Cody's our guy going into Mania. Sami is not the guy going into Mania, but we're gonna ride Sami's momentum for Cody. So I do think they need to keep them separate. Especially with Kevin Owens coming on board soon. When is that going to happen?
They're getting there.
Yeah, I hope so. Hopefully it's soon, because we only have a couple more episodes.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Uncle A says that could they be setting up Sami interference at WrestleMania, setting up a triple threat at the next pay-per-view, then Sami and Cody pin them together and each take a title? I wouldn't hate that. But I think it's too soon for. I could see Sami interfering at Mania and wreaking havoc that way. But I think that would take the shine off of Cody a little bit.
Yeah, and I just still don't think Roman's going to lose. I think he's going to hit 1,000 days. So
yeah. So, but yeah, let's talk about this. I think this is the outcome everybody saw coming. The shenanigans in the triple threat match. Or the fatal 5-way match, actually, for the IC title #1 contender between Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, Karrion Kross, LA Knight, and Xavier Woods. And I think this is the outcome that we got, was what everybody expected, because I think the plan or the rumor is that it's going to be a triple threat at WrestleMania between Gunther, Drew McIntyre, and Sheamus. And the shenanigans and the outcome of this was Sheamus and McIntyre, got a pinfall at the exact same time, and it caused it caused some confusion and commotion. And now on SmackDown, Sheamus and McIntyre are going to go one-on-one for the opportunity to wrestle Gunther at WrestleMania. And I think there's going to probably be another outcome in there that's going to set up a triple threat. So, I'm okay with this, because I think that's the match everybody wants to see. I do wish it was. As much as I love Drew McIntyre, I do wish that this was a one-on-one match between Sheamus and Gunther. They've had some epic encounters in the past. They've had that awesome match at Clash at the Castle last year. They had that one match on SmackDown where Gunther tapped, and Sheamus should technically be the Intercontinental Champion. I will not let that go. But Gunther did tap, and they never really talked about it ever again, because he didn't. He was like, he didn't tap 3 times, which I didn't know that was a thing. He just tapped once or twice. But yeah, I want to see the third and final match between Sheamus and Gunther. But if they're going to throw Drew McIntyre in there, I think he's a good person to add in there. I think he deserves it, and it adds more prestige to the Intercontinental Championship. So you have 2 former world champions competing for it at the biggest stage. And I don't remember the last time the Intercontinental Championship was defended at WrestleMania. So the creative team is doing a good job of making the U.S. title and the Intercontinental title feel important.
Oh, for sure. And I think I think that's why they added Drew. I think that's why Drew and Sheamus were becoming drinking buddies and so on, so they can kind of bicker and lead to this three-way. Gunther is important. He feels good. He feels like a star. He feels like a world champion in the future, and I think that's why they want to put him with Drew as well. Drew's a little bit bigger than Sheamus at the moment, with the most recent title run. I feel like he gets a bigger push so far than Sheamus has in the past. Sheamus and Drew both hit their finishing kick at the same time. 10 count turns into ultimate triple threat also. It could happen like that, or Gunther comes out and interferes, and they just keep it basic. Gunther's just over it and beats the bananas out of Imperium, comes out and interferes. So it's just
no contest.
No contest. Yeah. But I hope Sheamus gets over. If Gunther wins, he wins. But I would like to see Sheamus finally become that having every single belt ever in WWE achieved. But I'm looking forward to it, and I think it's going to be a good match, and I'm glad Drew's in it. He needs to do something; he deserves it, and this is about as big as a WrestleMania moment I think he can get without fighting for the World Heavyweight Championship. And he had his moment too this year. People forget that he got to wrestle Roman in his hometown, and that was a huge at Clash, so that was humongous. So, yeah. So, and with that said, I don't think there's ever a time that I could talk about Raw or SmackDown without bringing up my boy, Mr. Dom Dom. I am the president of the Dom Dom fan club. I want to talk about some Dominic Mysterio, and him and Ray had another segment, and it finally happened. What? Dominic and Ray are fighting at WrestleMania? No. It finally happened. Dominic told him that he wishes Eddie Guerrero was his real father. It finally happened. What we've been waiting for was to bring up Eddie Guerrero. And in honor, I wore, I know if you're listening in Radio World, I'm your papi. I wore my Eddie Guerrero shirt today just for that, Mr. Latino Heat himself. And I thought it was funny because Dom Dom says this to Ray, and Ray gets caught on the mic. He's like, don't say that. Don't say that. Like, you don't mean that. You don't mean that. And I just really want to flash back to when Dominic Mysterio's custody was held for a ladder match between Ray and Eddie. I like how Ray's I could never, but you literally tried to wrestle for your son's son. For literal Dominic Mysterio was up for grabs at one point. I don't know if you remember that shooting star, but he was 100% up for grabs. So it's funny. But I was so glad they brought it up. Obviously, it wasn't talked about again on Monday Night Raw, but I hope it keeps getting brought up and we can get into that more. But this Dominic and Ray stuff, I'm glad that they're on now every week. I feel like it needs to be there. I don't think it's being too much. And I think by the time Ray either A, accepts or Ray hits him, it's going to be magical. I think this is, minus the bloodline, this is the hottest thing going storyline right now is, and I hope they find something for Damian Priest, because if we really talk about it, which we'll go into Raw too, but I feel like everyone in Judgment Day's got something going on. And Damian Priest, I mean, they gave him a win on SmackDown or Raw when in their tag team match, but other than that, he's really just kind of floundering. But yeah, man, what did you think? Are you liking the Eddie Guerrero bring up? Did you like the segment?
I'm surprised it took this long for him to bring it up, especially with the Rhea Ripley wearing the "I'm Your Mommy" shirts and everything like that. I'm really surprised that it took this long for them to bring up the whole Eddie Guerrero thing, and I'm glad, and I hope that becomes but I hope it bemes more of the story, because I want Dominic to. You talk about long-term storytelling. The ultimate long-term story for Dominic to, grab a microphone in the next couple of weeks and say, "You remember you put me up for custody against Eddie Guerrero, and you put me on a pole, and that's how low you think of me. That's what you think of me. You think you can just give up on me. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I've been talking about for all these years." And so I loved it. I think it's great, and I hope that this continues. And this has been the second best story on WWE, and it's amazing what a drastic change we've seen in Dominic since his heel turn. It's just he's more comfortable out there. He's more comfortable on the microphone. He's getting better in the ring. He's getting pinfall victories. He's improving significantly. He's getting a lot of heat, that chicken shit heel heat that a lot of people have a hard time getting, because people usually want to cheer the heels.
Mm-hmm.
Roman Reigns gets cheers sometimes. People acknowledge Roman. People want to acknowledge the Usos. People were cheering for Sami Zayn when he was in the bloodline.
Yep.
And he was supposed to be a heel. You know, everybody was chanting Usi, Usi, Usi.
Mm-hmm.
But they're supposed to be the biggest heels in the company. And Dominic Mysterio gets no cheers. He gets all heat, all boos. Yeah, and that's hard to do these days. And so I got to give Dom credit. And I think we got to give Ray some credit too, because he's going to the Hall of Fame. He was the first inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame, and I think it's definitely well deserved. Mm-hmm. And it does have me scratching my head a little bit as to whether or not him going to the Hall of Fame is a way to get to the Ray versus Dominic match at WrestleMania, or if it's going to be an actual Hall of Fame induction. I did another video on TikTok just yesterday, the other day, asking if people think that Dominic and Rhea should interrupt Ray's Hall of Fame induction, or take out Conan, who's inducting him, and just go in there and just start belittling his father and all of his accomplishments and everything. And there was a lot of mixed reactions, that people think that would be awesome, and then people think that the Hall of Fame is a separate ceremony. There should be no character development, no character advancement, no stories. Even The Undertaker wasn't in character at WrestleMania in the Hall of Fame. And so I am curious to see what will happen with the Hall, if that's where Ray finally snaps and agrees to take the match against Dominic at WrestleMania, because Dominic ruined his moment, a moment that was supposed to be for him in front of his family and all of his friends to celebrate his accolades in the WWE, and Dominic takes it away from him. So I am curious to see if this is a story, or if it's, I think he's really going to the Hall of Fame, but I think, are they going to use this induction to further the story?
Yeah. And I was surprised he was the first one. I know that he's from Mexico, and, Mexico's, especially I think his part of Mexico where he's from is really close to California and San Diego border.
619.
Yeah, 619, San Diego. Yeah, he's from San Diego. Yes. So, I mean, obviously it makes sense, I guess, in a way that he gets inducted in Hollywood. But I thought it would be Batista, but Ray and Batista have a huge history together. So I can also see Batista still coming in and them together. But with that said, let me just continue right on. Let's go to Raw then, because let's just continue this story. So Ray's going to the Hall of Fame. Is he going to interfere? Is he going to come out and do his thing? Well, Dom and Ray had another segment on Monday Night Raw, back-to-back segments. And this was Dominic Mysterio's best mic work ever. I'm going to say it. He is getting better and better. And this was spot on. He basically interrupts Ray, having his moment about talking about how he's in the Hall of Fame, why he deserves it, all this stuff. And out comes Dominic. And Dom walks out, and is this the one that was after the match, I believe. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had Legato me. I think that's what it is. I'm telling you, everything. We're mixing shows now. Everyone's in everything. I'm trying to think of what happened together. Yeah, I think this was the one where he was in the ring with them, right? No, he walked out didn't he walk out because he said you don't deserve the Hall of Fame? You deserve to be in the Hall of Fame of deadbeat dads. And that's what led to it. So he did walk to the ring. Yeah. The Hall of Fame, the deadbeat dads. And he walks in and he basically tells them. And it's funny because Dominic, you were talking about how heels, and I was in a little scuffle with someone on TikTok about this, because I've said that Dominic Mysterio was the best heel or whatever, and people are like, well, Roman, MJF, this and that. I take lessons from Bully Ray. Bully Ray always says, if you are being cheered as a heel, then you are not a heel. You are just somebody portraying a heel. A person who is getting cheered is not a heel. A person who's getting booed is a heel. When you were getting legit booed, Dominic does not get cheered. And he literally came out and made great points about how Ray was a deadbeat dad. You missed my prom. You missed my graduation. You missed because you were at WrestleMania, because your wrestling always came first. And then the thing that broke me the most was that all his friends got cars. They all got new cars. And they all rolled into school one day in their brand new Mercedes-Benz. And what did Rey Mysterio, the Hall of Famer, future Hall of Famer, got his son a damn BMW. And on top of that, Shooting Star Press, it wasn't even an M series. So Ray needs to, how dare he not get his son a BMW M series, and not even a Mercedes. So it was an awesome segment. It was hilarious. And then Dominic finally challenges Ray to a match at Mania, which Ray says, no, I told you I'm not going to fight you, this and that. So with that said, so many ways to go. Could they interrupt at his Hall of Fame? Yes, I think Ray is down for that. I do get that it blurs the lines, but I also don't think you should have Dominic like in the crowd, like crying, and so you also can't break kayfabe that way, right? So I and remember, Hall of Fame's not in like an arena anymore. It's in like it's going to be right after SmackDown, so it's going to be in the ring where that music can hit. Dominic can come down. I mean, you can do it all. It's perfect settings for this happening. That could be the last straw. I think there's multiple ways it can go, right? I think it's going to be him interrupting the Hall of Fame, maybe Dominic putting his hands on his mom. In some form, you know what I mean? Maybe threatening his mom. I think it's going to have to be something major, right? Because everything else he's done so far, punching him and hitting him. But are we going to wait till the Hall of Fame to make that match? Like we said, we don't need that match. I mean, people are already assuming and they're already tuning into Mania and record numbers, but either way, man, like I said, this build is phenomenal. And dads out there, remember, when everybody has a Mercedes-Benz, don't get your kid a BMW non-M series. Yeah. Do better. Do better.
Yeah. Come on, Ray. Like Ray should just be, he should get his Hall of Fame status revoked just because of that. I mean, come on. Like, you got to do what the rest of the kids are doing in school. And, my parents bought me a Dodge Stratus in 1997 when I started driving, or 97 Dodge Stratus when I started driving in 2002. Okay. So yeah, so I kind of feel that with that's like the BMW to I don't even know, but yeah, I'm used to driving POSs, and so I get it. I get where Dominic's coming from with his father and everything. So. Oh man, yeah. I think they very well could blur the lines of kayfabe and reality, and I think maybe he attacks Conan, and Conan is inducting him, and maybe that's how Ray accepts the match. Maybe he accepts it beforehand. I don't know, but I would love to see Dominic and Rhea. I feel like you got to get Rhea involved. You got to get Mommy involved, similar to what they've been doing with those. The Christmas stuff and the Thanksgiving stuff, and most recently on Valentine's with those like the docu series that they've been doing where they're going to interrupt their Valentine's dinner, or they're going to interrupt Thanksgiving. Do something where they're going to interrupt Ray's speech, and then the security takes Dominic out, so you don't see Dominic on camera anymore, and then he can watch his father be inducted from the back, and then cry off camera and celebrate off camera, so we don't see him.
Yeah,
they could do something like that, but. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take for Ray to finally accept this match. It's going to take something drastic, though.
And since he's going to the Hall of Fame, is it a retirement match? I called that a long time ago, so I don't know if it's going to happen or not. But
yeah, I don't want to say yes because I don't want Ray to be done. I think this storyline has been fantastic, and that's my only concern is what happens to Dominic after WrestleMania, after Rey Mysterio. Does he go back to the Judgment Day? Does he wear the mask and become Rey Mysterio and turn babyface again? Is he the heel in the mat? Like,
no, I think he goes full heel. He's the man who retired Rey Mysterio. Maybe he has that mask hostage, takes it off his dad, and he's like reminds everybody and becomes a heel for the next year and a half of rubbing it in everybody's face.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate that either. I don't. Ray's only like 48, in which. He's been doing this for a long time, so maybe he's ready to hang it up, but I'm not ready to see Ray.
I agree.
But so I don't want to say yes to that, but I could also see it being a retirement match. If he's ready
to the Hall of Fame, I mean, it's hard. I mean, you can't go to the Hall of Fame if you're still going to wrestle, right? I mean, most people who weren't supposed to keep wrestling, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's it's. I mean, like Edge came back, but he wasn't supposed to. And he's in the Hall of Fame, and Goldberg's been in a few matches, and Sting was in some. So yeah, but
sure.
Yeah,
all right.
Let's talk more Bloodline. Let's talk about KO against Solo Sikoa in the street fight, which we talked a couple weeks ago about Sami Zayn when he took on Solo Sikoa. He doesn't need to be taking any pinfalls right now. And he got pinned. And then Kevin Owens had a match against somebody on SmackDown, and he lost the match by no contest. And then he takes a pinfall loss to Solo Sikoa on Monday Night Raw. And I don't think that necessarily needed to happen. They could have had that match end any other way. I know that it was a street fight, and there's no disqualification, and it has to end with a pinfall. And I know there were shenanigans from the Usos and everything. And I just don't think. How many times are you going to call Kevin Owens a prize fighter when he goes and loses every single fight that he's in? And it feels like he does lose every single, like he lost it that brutal fashion to Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble, then had that beatdown afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And then he lost this match to Solo Sikoa and got a beatdown afterwards. So yeah, it just felt, I don't know. I'm starting to not believe so much in Kevin Owens, and I shouldn't feel that way. I shouldn't feel that way going into WrestleMania, because he's one of the top acts and he's one of the top draws. But I just don't think he needs to be, him or Sammy need to be losing right now. That would be like Cody Rhodes losing to LA Knight randomly on Monday Night Raw. It just doesn't make much sense. Or Cody Rhodes losing to Baron Corbin a few weeks ago when they wrestled. I don't think either of them need to be losing matches.
Yeah, I agree. And I think they're just kind of stuck in this whole, like, they're feuding with the bloodlines, so Sammy and KO have to like wrestle the people from the bloodline. But why? You don't always have to build story. Like Rey and Dominic aren't wrestling all the time. Like you don't have to wrestle each other to build the storyline. And maybe it's because they're not official yet, but either it's Rey and Dom. I don't know. I think that's the problem. And Solo Sikoa ain't taking an L anytime soon. So why keep having them lose? I agree with you. Maybe they just feel like they're safe because them losing and them getting the whatever over them, and maybe by the time Mania happens, if they are doing the tag team match, they'll get their comeuppance and it'll all be worth it. I see that as well. I'm not completely just poo-pooing it, but I see where you're going with it, and I just think it's because they're wrestling each other and they shouldn't have to do that. And KO's not a prize fighter when you fight every week and against anybody.
Yeah,
a prize fighter is someone who only fights like at pay-per-views or when it's also for like big money title matches.
It was also weird. I felt like KO didn't know he was going to be wrestling on Raw because he wrestled in his jeans and his sneakers. Usually he has like some trunks on and boots. And, he came out in the same outfit he was doing his backstage interviews in. And, it was like, did he not know, like going into Monday Night Raw, he was going to have a match? Did he forget his gear? Did his stuff get taken like Wardlow? Like, I don't know. It was just weird to see him wrestling in jeans and stuff. But,
he was very cash.
Yeah, it was very, very. He took Casual Monday to a whole new level.
Well, and the thing is, too, hopefully he knew about that damn match, because that chair thing that he did was brutal. Was just watching it, I was like, none of the chairs even gave a little bit. That was just, it looked bad, and he's old. I mean, his back's gotta like.
And that man, he takes some abuse. I mean, he had that chair shot, or that thing on the chairs on Raw this week. He had that bad spot, and then the spots he took at the Royal Rumble with Roman Reigns when he was beating his head against the steps. I mean, those are some brutal shots he's been taking.
100,
But I did find it weird too. The week before, Sami Zayn's getting beaten down by the Usos and Solo, and out comes Cody Rhodes. This week, I understand, like, Sami wasn't on Raw at all, which I thought that was a little weird, but I understand him not coming to Kevin Owens' aid because they're not meshing. They're not on the same terms.
Yeah.
But afterwards, there's no Cody Rhodes. And I know KO had that promo earlier in the week, and he said, he cut a promo earlier in the night, not earlier in the week, but he said, I don't need your help, Cody. I don't need your help, Sami. I can do this myself. But still, even after, I don't know. It felt that Cody's very team Sami. He doesn't really feel like he's very team KO.
I think they just doing that because I think they want KO's whole, like, I don't need help, me. And then he's going to keep getting beat up. And I think he's going to be like, okay, Sami, I need you. Let's defeat the bloodline. Yeah. I think that's what they're going with. But with that said, we're talking about this like it's a bad thing. Let's talk about one bad build so far for WrestleMania, or at least in my expert opinion. You heard me, expert. Asuka versus
over here.
Yeah. My expert opinion. I should have done that. That would have been way better. Asuka versus Belair. This, I was actually when Rhea didn't pick Belair, I was kind of like, all right, I want to see Rhea whoop Bianca's butt, but whatever. And then when it was Asuka, I got a little excited. I was like, okay, Asuka's gonna get her comeuppance. She had her moments. Belair's got to finally lose. No, like nobody cares about Bianca Belair. Is she even getting reactions? I don't even pay attention when she's on the screen. And she keeps having these matches against, jobbers or whatever, or not jobbers. It's Carmella, isn't it? Or, she didn't wrestle Carmella this week. Or did she again? No, Bianca wrestled what's her face?
It was Chelsea Green.
Chelsea Green. That poor
yeah.
Why did they bring her in? That's why Zack Ryder's not back yet. He's like, oh heck no, I ain't getting that. I ain't getting that treatment. But after the match, the only interactions Belair and Asuka have had together is after every win by Bianca, Asuka comes out, they like hug and kiss, and then she drools Smurf blood out of her mouth, and then they leave. There's like, no, I don't understand, like, how is this intriguing? And like anybody's like, oh my gosh, I can't wait until they're not hugging anymore. This is going to be fantastic. I mean, they kind of did like a belt thing, and then maybe that's Asuka's character now, and I'm not like understanding that maybe she's doing mind games or something, but I need something, and I don't need them to get physical or whatever, but I need a little bit of heat. Why can't Asuka come out and maybe cost the match, you know what I mean? Or maybe get in the way, or maybe Bianca does it to her, or oh, here we go again. Mr. B-roll saying it's Vince. We were talking off the record. I always say off the record. We were texting each other. We don't have records. We're not like police officers. We were talking, me and Shooting Star, we were saying how I said, now every time anything bad happens in the WWE, we just blame Vince. And Vince is probably at home like, I'm not even in creative, damn it. But like, these idiots. Triple H loves him some Omos. But anyway, but they like... Yeah, so I lost my train of thought. But anyway, I'm not digging it. What do you think? Am I missing it? Are you liking that they're coming out and spitting out blue things? Like, do they need heat? Because they're both... we're kind of like what we'll go into with NXT, where it's like two baby faces, right? Is that why we're doing this? Because they're baby faces. They don't want to turn one heel, so this is all we got. Maybe they're not that big up on the card, so who cares? Like, I don't... What do you... Like, this is like the only one I'm kind of like, man, this is a miss so far.
Yeah, I haven't been feeling this, and... You wouldn't know that they have a match against each other at WrestleMania just based on their build and based on everything that they're doing, especially because you know they're like hugging it out all the time.
Yeah,
and it's like they're friends, and I get that they were part of a trio with Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka when Damage Control was being Damage Control and not winning matches against them, but. Yeah, like I'm not feeling this. I'm really not feeling this. When Alexa Bliss turned on Bianca, I was like, okay, I can get behind that. They built that success. They built that the right way. She attacked her in the backstage. But there's no heat. There's no reason to be invested in this match. And I'm hoping that changes within the next few weeks. We have 3 more SmackDowns and 2 more Raws before WrestleMania. So hopefully something between now and then changes significantly and we get some more heat between these two. But I say turn Bianca right before, and then let's turn Montez forward and let's let them do their thing. Let's turn them. Turn her heel. She needs a push. If she turned heel, I'd be okay if she kept the title. She just needs something else. Her gimmick is stale. She needs something. Turn her heel. Why not? What the heel? I completely agree. Give her a heel turn, especially right before Mania. Right before Mania. So people are going into it questioning what booing her. It would be like when Daniel Bryan turned heel against AJ Styles. And, and everyone he low blowed him and won the belt that way. It was like, and then the whole talk of the week the next week was, what was all that about? Is Daniel Bryan a heel now? Is like, what's going on? Like what? And then he made you tune in, and then he wrestled against Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series and got his ass kicked by him. And I think they could do something like that. Turn Bianca heel and give you something to invest in and give you something to talk about going into WrestleMania. Right now, I didn't even know. I forgot that this was a match until you brought it up. I mean, it's just one of those things. You're like, they look like they're tagging. Like they look like tag team partners. Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of tag teams, I think let's get into it. I think Carmella and Chelsea Green would make a great tag team. And I think I do too. I think they make a good pair. And we're scarce of women's tag teams, so I think they make a good pair.
And
I really do.
They are. I mean, that's a
Yes.
sexy tag team right there, my
Yeah.
friend. Woo, woo.
Oh, yeah.
All right, that wasn't your last thing. So what's your last thing?
Brock Lesnar and Omos.
Brock Lesnar.
Let's talk about that segment because I don't know what that was. First of all, Omos came out to no reaction. There was no, unless it was loud. It may have been louder in the arena than it was on TV. So I mean, I wasn't there in Providence, so maybe somebody who's in Providence can hit us up on TikTok and let us know if it was louder in the arena. But from what I saw on TV, there was nothing. No boos, no cheers, nothing. It was just quiet. And Omos came out, and then Brock interrupted, and he came out as well, and he got some cheers. And of course, everyone's always happy to see Farmer Brock. He comes into the ring, and they stare each other down. And I will say, it's hard to make Brock Lesnar look like a tiny man. And Omos does that. I didn't realize how big Omos was until he was in the ring with Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar was looking up at him like 6 times because of how tall the man is. I mean, he is huge.
He only went up to like his neck.
Yeah.
Like
it was, yeah. And it was bad. I mean, it was, and then Omos did I don't know if they were doing like yoga poses or what, but like he like stuck his arms out, and then he brings it down, then he's making a fist, and then he turns it in, and then he extends his hand for Brock to shake it, and then Brock tries to go at him, and then Omos can barely get Brock Lesnar over the rope. He struggles getting Brock over the rope, and I mean, the crowd was chanting. The crowd seemed into this segment. They were chanting "Holy shit! Holy shit! Holy shit!" during this match, and I thought that was cool. I mean, I guess they liked it because I didn't. What I saw on TV, I was like, "This is awkward. This is bad." I didn't care for it. I thought it was weird. The whole yoga thing, to the handshake, to Brock trying to suplex him right away. I mean, that's what everyone's waiting to see at WrestleMania is if Brock can suplex this guy. And then, Omos struggled to get him over the rope. And then Brock's look of confusion. I think the commentators played it up as, is Brock scared of Omos?
Scared,
Brock, but it kind of looked like Brock was just more like, he couldn't even get me over the rope. So I don't know. I wasn't feeling this segment. And
I mean,
I'm still not feeling this match.
I don't, and this is another one. I didn't want to bring this up in the bad build because I don't even think this is a match. I think it is going to be a squash match. I really believe that. I mean, so I posted a TikTok on this, and I actually got a lot of flack. I thought when I posted this, I don't post a lot of like negative things on TikTok. I'm usually pretty positive. But I just posted like I wasn't really sure about this match, but it seemed like the crowd was into it, and people were like, "Don't watch it then. You're stupid." Blah blah blah. And then people were like, "It was piped in noise, you idiot," and this and that. And I was like, I don't think so, because I think they started chanting "Holy shit" as soon as when people realized how much smaller he was than him. And I think people were like, "Oh crap," got kind of excited. I think people were kind of excited for it. I think people forget that Brock Lesnar is over. He always has been. No matter if true wrestling fans like him or not, he has always been that guy. That's just who he is. Brock Lesnar is the attraction. He's probably going to be the biggest attraction maybe ever in wrestling. I mean, right now, I think if you had him and Roman, I think Brock gets bigger. I think Brock is he's always been that guy. So having him stand next to Omos and having to look up like a little child was crazy. I also got a lot of flack because I said the same thing as you, that, geez, Omos is so green, he couldn't even get him over the rope. And people were like, that was Brock's fault. Brock needed to turn better and this and that. Okay. Well, I'm glad everyone's an expert. But to me,
of course,
I'm glad they are all professional wrestlers, so they know who's supposed to flip and flop or whatever. But I mean, to me, it looked like he tried to get his head over and it like slipped over. But once again, I'm not an expert either. But either way, it just showed that was this what we have to look forward to? I don't care if it's Brock's fault or Omos's fault. I mean, something's got to happen. Brock looking scared and stuff. I mean, they didn't talk a lot. I think he put his fist out so he can show that his fist was like bigger than his head, but it really wasn't. I think that was like a miss. And MVP not talking was a miss. I didn't really, the whole thing was a miss. But it was a 3-minute segment. We moved on. I think it's crazy that there was a time where Brock was like champion and wouldn't even come on TV when needed to, and now he's coming on Monday Night Raws for 3-minute segments with Omos. How the world has changed in the WWE. But I'm waiting for B-roll to say that it's Vince. But that JK B-roll. But
I'll just put it back up there.
Oh, there you go. It's Vince. Damn it! Give me some Brock Lesnar and Omos. Omos. I'm almost gonna. But anyway, so like, yeah, I agree with you, and we'll see what happens. We're gonna be there live. We'll see how it is. Yeah, man, that was Monday Night Raw. Let's get into some NXT. Yes, NXT had some things. I don't know if we're gonna do one or two, maybe one. It's 45 minutes. Let's see here. But you know what? I'm gonna start off with this. Roxanne Perez is out. So we didn't talk about her match last week. She fainted, I guess, because she got her butt kicked so hard by somebody from New Japan Wrestling, I believe. I don't know who that girl was. But anyway, I think she was from AEW. But she came over. She put it to Roxanne. Roxanne found out how to win. The girl and them were cheering, and then she fainted. So this week, they followed up with it. And HBK read his tweets, which was, I think, the only weird part of NXT segment. They like showed HBK's tweets on the screen, but then he like read them like it was like a story. Yeah, narrate. It was really weird.
Just a boy from Canton, Ohio.
Yeah. Yeah, it was weird. But anyway, basically what he said was that Roxanne is not clear to wrestle yet, and so they're not sure if she's going to wrestle. Nothing was wrong with her. But that's the problem, because why would you faint if there was nothing wrong with you? So I think this was a good way of building a match for Roxanne. I don't think they have a lot of contenders. I think this was a smart way to do it. I like it. I think it's, let's get 4 other women or whatever it's going to be to kind of build themselves up. Have Roxanne come back the NXT before Stand and Deliver, say she's ready to go, and now she has her awesome title match. And it's going to be for the ladder, and you didn't even have to use her to build anybody. She's going to retain anyway, and it pushes other people. I was surprised to see Zoe Starks beat Sol Ruca. I think Zoe Starks is a star. I love Zoe Starks. That's not a knock on her at all. She hasn't been winning, and Sol Ruca is flipping everything. So I thought that was like an easy match, and she didn't win. So Gigi Dolan being in it too is fine. I was assuming you were going to bring up either of those matches. So, but Gigi Dolan, I do want to say I am a little confused with her because she got into this match, but what's with her? And like, she's still toxic attract. Like, they didn't change her character at all. She even comes out with the rose still. I thought if you were going to, like, usually when you leave, like Shawn Michaels didn't leave the Rockers and then still come out to his music and his flamboyant colors. Like, you got to like change a little bit. So
Roman Reigns came out to the Shield theme.
Gosh, forever.
He left the Shield. So
why do you think people didn't like him? And he was still like in his like bulletproof vest. And when you switch out, you got to change yourself, man, or no one's gonna care. But anyway, I kind of like it. What do you think? Do you think that's the reason, or you think Roxanne's like legit injured? I don't read the stuff.
I don't think it's legit. I think it was story. I was confused.
I don't mean like she really fainted. I meant like she has like an injury, and this was like a story.
I don't know. I like it. I like that they're, it's you're able to build to a big pay-per-view without using your real champion. I think that's pretty cool. She doesn't have to, do a lot of building, and you get to focus on some other stars as they, she is the attraction, and she's the one that everybody wants to see. She's the one that everybody wants to beat. And so you get an opportunity to build your other women stars that way. And yeah, I was really surprised that Sol Ruca took that loss to Zoe Stark. I hope that Sol Ruca gets another chance and is still in that ladder match, within the next, couple of weeks. But I don't know.
We'll see. And where's Cora Jade, by the way? She needs to get on my screen already. Is she injured? I don't know.
Yeah. But let's talk about speaking of HBK, let's talk about the man who should be HBK's opponent at Stand and Deliver, and that's Grayson Waller. I tell you what, WWE /NXT /Grayson Waller has done a great job of incorporating social media as a way to get over and as a way to make him a big jerk and a big heel in the business. And I think that's a credit to him that they're doing a great, when he was feuding with Braun Breaker, he was on an Instagram live and walked into the gym and started beating him down. And, with when he was going after Shawn Michaels, he's going to the production truck at the end, and he's going into the gorilla position at the end and confronting him, and he's releasing statements on Instagram. And then this week with Johnny Gargano cutting his promo, he's doing something on Instagram from Gargano's house. And so I thought, talk about getting a massive way to get some heel heat is go into the man's house of your opponent at a big pay-per-view. Go in there with the guy's wife, his kids, all of that. I think it's going to be I'm excited about this match, and I'm actually excited that Johnny Gargano has something to do since he's been back. He came back in September or October and hadn't really done anything.
Mm-hmm.
And he had some great spots in the Elimination Chamber, and that was probably the highlight of his WWE main roster career. And I think this match is really going to show us what Johnny Gargano is all about, and I'm excited to see it. I think he's the perfect opponent for Grayson Waller, and I think Grayson Waller is the perfect opponent for Johnny Gargano, and I think it's going to be this was a great way to keep momentum going, and I think the momentum's going to keep going as we get to Stand and Deliver. So I also like that it took the focus off of HBK. So no longer are we talking more about HBK. I don't think HBK is going to get involved in this match. He might, but I think now the focus solely is on Gargano and Grayson Waller, as opposed to where does Shawn Michaels fit into this? Is Shawn Michaels in Gargano's corner? Is Grayson Waller going to have somebody in his corner? It's just now the focus is on Gargano and Waller.
Yeah, I hope HBK doesn't get involved. I think Waller needs to win at Stand and Deliver, so I hope there's no interference. I did like it. It gave me some RKO, like Randy Orton, Triple H vibes from back in the days. I was digging it, the House Invasion. I agree with you with the social media thing. He's been killing it on that, doing his damn thing. Although I believe Braun Breaker and Carmelo Hayes' match at NXT feels huge. It feels like a main event, and they're pushing it well. I think Grayson Waller right now is the biggest thing in NXT. I think he's the hottest attraction. It could have been Schism, but I don't know what the heck happened to them. Ava Raine put her mask on a cone or something, but I and walked away. But I think Grayson Waller is money. The only way I see him losing is if he's going to appear on Raw after Mania, and so they're going to move on with them. I think they usually lose their way to the upper roster, which is weird. Same thing with Braun Breaker. I think he'll lose and move on. But I thought it was amazing. The only thing I thought was weird about the segment was Candice LeRae. They might need to get her a couple acting classes, but she was like standing there with her baby. And I thought it was like, that's commitment by the Gargano family to allow that baby to watch their dad get the snot beat out of him, because that baby don't understand what's going on. It's a lot of anger going. And then they held the baby next to him while he was laying there knocked out. And the baby was like, and she's like, no, you can't hold daddy now. I was like, damn, this is it's real. That baby's going to be messed up now from a fake beatdown. But I like that Grayson Waller didn't do it to be creepy in the sense of Orton and Triple H. He wasn't trying to get them technically. He was just doing to get Gargano to, be ready for a beatdown. So I liked it. I liked it all. I thought it was a great way to almost cap off that NXT. And I look forward to this match. I really do. I think they're going to deliver. I think they're going to stand and deliver.
I think so too. And I think Braun Breaker and Carmelo Hayes is going to be off the chains. I think Grayson Waller and Johnny Gargano is going to be off the chains. I think the women's ladder match is going to be off the chains. I think, everything at Stand and Deliver is going to be off the chain.
I think so.
I can't wait.
And we'll be there.
Yes, we will.
We
will be there live and in person.
Yeah. We'll see if we do a podcast out in front of that too. But what's up?
Oh, sorry. Before we get to Stand and Deliver, do you think Gargano gets Dexter Lumis involved at all? I was surprised I didn't see Dexter Lumis in that home invasion thing to protect the Garganos. And
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's his main roster tag. You know how they try to keep it separate, because he had matches. He tag team against Judgment Day this week, and then then he just went over to, but he didn't take the L. Then he just went over to NXT like nothing happened. They love to do that when they mix NXT people with the main roster. They pretend like they were never there. No, they're not. That's a different Johnny Gargano.
Yeah, that's not me.
No, he's perfecly fine. Just take him off. Yeah, why don't they just bring? I don't understand why they don't just move them off for right now. Are they maybe because they're paying them more and they need, I don't know, double duties. And the fact that they go back and forth, that's pretty that's airplane
they were in
heavy right
Providence,
there.
Rhode Island the night before, and then they're in Tampa, Florida.
They're always in Florida. Yeah. And does Gargano really live in Florida? I'm
I
assuming
don't
he did
know.
because he was in
Yeah,
NXT
I'm
forever.
assuming he
But
does. Yeah.
was that like his real house? I don't know. Or is that like a rental? I have no idea.
I
Because I
always
was
wonder that.
thinking that, yeah.
Yeah, I always wonder
If
that.
it's a real house.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I know Edge and Seth Rollins had a similar run in a few years
Oh,
ago when
that's
they
right.
were,
Seth did
and,
do it. Yeah.
and Seth went into Edge. I don't think that was Edge's real house, but
You don't think so?
no, but and Edge got some heat because he called like FTR, but he called them by their real names on screen.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. That's
yeah, it
right.
was, and
That's
then
right.
he was like Dash and so and so,
Yeah.
go get Beth, get the kids. It
That's
was
right. I remember that.
Dash Wheeler.
Yeah. The only thing is, like, if they start damaging the house, and I know it's not theirs, because no matter if WWE, unless they like move your furniture and put fake ones in, I don't see anybody like allowing their furniture to get blown up and then them
No,
being like, no, we'll
yeah,
pay it back. We're gonna replant. Like,
like
well, this was a
in
one of a kind. So
in
thanks.
DDP when he was the stalker
Oh,
stalking the Undertaker's wife, and he was in Undertaker's house and
yeah.
trying on his wife's underwear, and
Oh, poor
yeah,
DDP.
I know,
Gosh. And he's so nice about that. He's never even complained to this day. He's like, it made me who I am.
yeah,
Without that shitty storyline, I wouldn't have
but
DDP yoga.
I don't think that was Undertaker's real house.
No, I don't think they
No,
ever. I always wonder too with the one with like Triple R, Brian Pillman, or I don't know. Sometimes it could
yeah,
be. Who knows? Who knows? But anyway, that was the week in wrestling. We're getting hyped up for
oh yeah,
WrestleMania season. So, and then we got to go right back tomorrow into talking about AEW. So it's hard. It's hard right now with WrestleMania season going on. But it is segment time, and our segment today is one of my favorites. It is our unpopular opinions. This is when we're each going to do one or two different opinions that we think are awesome and correct. And the unanimous people in this world think otherwise. They do not think so. So, as always, we're going to start with Mr. Shooting Star Press. What is your first WWE
oh man,
unpopular opinion?
all right. And you've been talking about this whole show, and I haven't really said much, but my unpopular opinion, and I did make a video about this on TikTok earlier in the week, but this build for WrestleMania, I'm not saying it's bad. It just feels flat. It feels flat to me. There's a lot of question marks. There's a lot of head scratching going on, and it just feels a little lackluster, in my opinion. We still don't know. We still don't know if we're getting KO and Sammy against the Usos at WrestleMania, and we're 3 weeks away. We still don't know if we don't know what's happening with Bray Wyatt and Bobby Lashley. If they're even doing anything there, or if the match is still on, or we don't know. We don't know. We wouldn't have known that Bianca Belair and Asuka were having a match until this week.
Yes, we did.
Ray and Dom, that's been great. I'm okay with them not officially announcing that match. That one's been fine. Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley, it kind of feels kind of similar to the Bloodline, where Rhea seems too focused on what's going on with Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio, and not focused so much on the women's champion. And then the same thing with the Bloodline. The Bloodline stuff, Roman and Paul Heyman dropped a promo this week and said, we have a big problem. And I was thinking, okay, it's going to be Cody Rhodes. They're going to talk about Cody Rhodes. No, it's the Kevin Owens problem. And we're going to solve the Kevin Owens problem. And it just kind of feels like Cody's playing second fiddle to the he should be the main problem on the Bloodline. Mm-hmm. So I'm just kind of feeling like this build. I'm not saying it's been bad. It just feels a little flat. It feels a little just lackluster. Brock Lesnar and Omos, they had that awkward exchange on Raw. And then they're also wasting a lot of time with people like Chad Gable and Otis. And I love them, don't get me wrong, but are they going to be at WrestleMania at all? Street Profits, are they going to be on WrestleMania at all? Are they going to Johnny Gargano's not going to be on WrestleMania. They're not going. Why you have Dexter Lumis? He's not going to be at WrestleMania. So it feels like they're focusing a lot of things on people that aren't going to be on Mania, which is all fine. And then the Damage Control thing, the invincible Trish Stratus, who gets beaten down backstage and then is miraculously fine by the end of the show, but they just walk out and leave and don't even try to fight back. I don't know. This whole build to Mania just kind of feels lackluster. It feels flat. Yeah. It feels like it's missing something. We don't know what LA Knight, is he going to have a match at WrestleMania? There's rumors that, maybe he'll have a match with Stone Cold Steve Austin, but he just took a pinfall loss to Cody Rhodes, and he just lost in the Fatal 5-Way Intercontinental Championship match on number one contender match on SmackDown last week. So we don't know what's happening with him. We don't know if we're getting KO and Sami against the Usos. We don't know if we're getting Ray and Dom officially. It just feels flat. It just feels flat. And I'm excited about it. I don't think it's been bad. I'm still excited about it. I have no doubt.
I mean, you're going live, so.
Yeah, I'm going to be there in person, and I have no doubt that the show is going to be, the show is going to be amazing, and I can't wait for it. And I have no doubt that it's going to surpass all my expectations. But it just kind of feels, it feels like I don't know. It just feels flat. It just feels like it's missing something.
This is why I love that we don't discuss too much before we go on here and we keep it raw and real, because I literally was just saying how I can't believe people thought that, and that was your unpopular opinion. So good shit. Good shit. Let me just run through this real quick, because maybe I'm off. So I pulled up the card while you were chatting.
All right.
And we got Roman Cody. I think that build's been good. I think it's been perfect. We got Charlotte. Okay. We got Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley. I think that build's been perfect. I think it's fine. Bianca versus Asuka, meh. Austin Theory versus John Cena. I mean, technically that is like a 1.5-year build, or since summer or whatever. So,
but are you excited about that match now after?
Well,
Cena's promo?
That's John Cena's fault.
I know.
Gunther versus To Be announced. I'm excited about that. It's a good build, and I think we're going to get a triple threat. Logan Paul versus Seth Rollins, I'm excited for, and that's been built in a story being told. Brock versus Omos, obviously not. Trish and them, obviously not. Even with Trish getting beat down, they're trying, but meh. And that's it so far. So when we think about the other things too, we got, what do we got? The Usos and Sami Zayn and stuff. I mean, that is being built. So if it ends up happening, Ray versus Dominic, we got announced Edge versus Finn. That's another year in the making, and it's a Hell in the Cell. So, I mean, I get what you're saying. I get how the build could be kind of flat recently and so on. The good thing is that every match is pretty enticing, at least minus Brock Lesnar, Omos, and a couple. It's going to be a good WrestleMania, but I can see where you're going with. I mean, I'm not going to.
It just feels like something's missing. It feels like there's, I don't know. Maybe there's no real legend at WrestleMania, or there's no, I don't know. It just feels like something's missing.
No real legend. You better watch it. Trish Stratus is at
Stratus will be
WrestleMania, bro. There's no bigger legend in the women's division than Trish Stratus. But no, I get what you're saying.
It just feels, it hasn't been, but even the KO and, I mean, the Roman and Cody stuff, it's the, Cody comes to SmackDown and, he's involved in the bloodline business, but then the bloodline still focused on Sami Zayn and KO.
Yeah.
They're not focusing on Cody Rhodes. And then
no, they're not.
Even the Roman and Cody promo, I don't know. It just kind of felt like Cody's playing second fiddle to the bloodline, and he should be the big problem. He should be the one that they're all focusing on.
I mean, he told Roman to acknowledge him this week, so I mean, he said it. Yeah. And I thought he cut a pretty good promo on Raw. So I mean.
And I know they've had months and a long time to build this stuff out, and WrestleMania from Elimination Chamber to WrestleMania, it's what, 6 or 7 weeks of build. So I think it'll pick up as the weeks go on, and I think the next couple of weeks, especially the go home show of WrestleMania, I have no doubt that's going to be amazing. But yeah, I think this build has just been subpar so far.
Yeah. All right. Well, I thought we'd do 2 each. Maybe we'll only do 1 each. But let me do mine now. Let's see. Are people disappointed because we thought we were getting The Rock and Roman? I mean, I'm not.
No, yeah, I'm not. I mean, I would like to have seen The Rock at WrestleMania, and I would like to have some. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's, or Stone Cold, or maybe that's what I mean when I feel like we're missing a legend or something. Like, I'd like to have some enticement with that, but I don't care that The Rock's not wrestling Roman.
Here's the thing with Stone Cold, though, right? Is that I get that people want to see him fight LA Knight because LA Knight goes, yeah, and copies his entire gimmick. And he says, what? And people want to be annoyed by going, yeah, what? Yeah, what? And my ears are going to bleed. And that's when I go to the bathroom to throw up and get another beer. So I get it. But here's the thing I think people forget. I think we're trapped in that Stone Cold KO match about how good it was. I don't think people realize that was 100% Kevin Owens. Now, maybe not 100%, 99. Stone Cold had to help a little bit, you know what I mean? But I don't think Stone Cold's going to have a banger with LA Knight. And I'm not dogging LA Knight's wrestling ability, but LA Knight ain't no Kevin Owens. Just like LA Knight ain't no Sami Zayn. LA Knight couldn't have wrestled Johnny Knoxville into a match that there's levels to this game. I don't think LA Knight's there. I could be wrong. I might get flack now for saying that because I know how much people love them some LA Knight. But I don't see LA Knight and Austin being anything good. And why bring – last year they brought Austin. He was the main event. You're going to bring in Austin and have him wrestle like third on the card against LA Knight, like second on the card. Yeah. I think it's too late, but I do get it. I think we should always have a legend and obviously someone bigger than Trish. I get what you're saying. My unpopular opinion.
Here we go.
I have a bunch, so I'm just going to pick one now. I'm going to go with this one. To keep it a little bit different. I think Jey Uso, main event Jey, should be the one to dethrone Roman. And I think it needs to happen at SummerSlam. I think Roman is going to beat Cody. I think he's going to move on. I think he'll probably beat Cody and Sammy and KO here and there, maybe in a 4-way, maybe in a triple threat, something like that, and continue on. But I think this bloodline storyline is not ending. And I think when it does end in August, it needs to be how it began. It began with Jey and Roman. And I think by that time, Jey will be over enough to be able to have the title. I think he will feel important enough, and I think he could be that guy. I truly, truly do, because when you really think about it, who can beat Roman? You can say The Rock, but that makes no sense. There's no one like, can Cody do it? Yes. Like, I think Cody could be that guy and carry it 100%. I just don't think in the storyline it makes sense. I think Jey is the only one, and I think when Jey does it, he becomes the head of the table and continues the bloodline storyline. I'm not going to try to predict who's going to be in it or whatever, but I think the bloodline can live on with Jey being the head of the table. I know people are going to get mad. They want Sammy, they want KO, they want Cody, but I'm going to say Jey Uso. That's my unpopular opinion. He needs to be the one to dethrone Roman. And the other unpopular thing is I think Roman should have it till summer. 100%. Yeah. I think people forget how much money they make off of Roman and how important it is that you can't just take this belt off of Roman. Like people think because Roman only wrestles once in a while that it's like not important. Like Roman having this belt means something, and there's a reason why he still has it. So
no, I think that's a good. I was going to make that my unpopular opinion too with Cody. I was going to say that Cody Rhodes should lose to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. That Roman should beat Cody 100%. So I'm in full agreement with you that it should be Jey Uso. I feel like this story, like you said, it started with Jey and it should end with Jey. I feel like it's always been Jey's story. Even when he came back, he's always been kind of the loose cannon of the bloodline, where he has to fall in line and then he goes away for a bit and comes back and he has to fall back in line again. And then, then he goes away with Sami Zayn and comes back and, he has to get, so I definitely think it's his story to tell. And I think WWE is in such a good spot right now because you have King of the Ring coming up in May. They're doing it in Saudi Arabia this year. And if they do King of the Ring correctly, you could have it so the winner of that gets a title shot at SummerSlam, which is King the way they have Jey Uso win and let him face Roman Reigns at SummerSlam and let him be the one to take the belt off of Roman then. And then in July, right before SummerSlam, you have Money in the Bank. And I know a lot of people want to see LA Knight win Money in the Bank, or somebody Montez Ford wins Money in the Bank, but you could see Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn could win Money in the Bank, and then
Cody could win Money in the Bank.
Yeah, Cody could win Money in the Bank and finish his story. There's so many options you can do. But if Sami Zayn wins Money in the Bank, you could set up a future singles push between KO, Sami Zayn and Jey. You could get Kevin Owens involved, and you could get Jimmy involved. There's so many different avenues that you could go. And I don't think the bloodline should all fall at WrestleMania. I think Jey is the perfect foil for Roman Reigns. He's always been against Roman Reigns. Even when he's been with Roman Reigns, he's been against Roman Reigns. And I think he'd be the perfect person to take the belt off. And I think it should be a star-making moment. I've always said that from the very beginning, that it didn't need to be a Drew McIntyre. It didn't need to be a Kevin Owens. It didn't need to be a Seth Rollins, because those guys are already over and they're already established stars. That's why I don't think Cody Rhodes should do it. It should be a young, up and coming star to take the belt off of Roman Reigns, and it would elevate them. It's the new Undertaker streak, right? And whoever snapped the streak was going to be a made man. It shouldn't have been Brock Lesnar. It should have been anybody else but Brock, because Brock was already over.
Yeah.
And I think this is the same thing. You can get Jey Uso, really elevate his career, take the belt off of Roman, and let him just let him run with it. And you can have so many singles matches with Cody, Sammy, KO, all those things that we've seen, but it would be in different circumstances this time. Yeah. So I'd love it.
Imagine how big that would be too. Huge. Right on, man. All right. Well, that's WWE Wednesday, everybody. Woo-hoo! Don't forget, tomorrow, Thursday, we'll be doing our AEW Friday on Thursday. So we'll be doing it tomorrow. Just, if you subscribe already, you'll get the alert and the notifications on when we're starting. And yeah, man, we switch sides too, I noticed. So as always, now I got to go the other way. As always, thank you for tuning in. Keep subscribing. We're almost at 100. Let's get to 100 before Mania on YouTube. We have 100 total if you can combine. Yeah, we have way more than 100 if you combine all platforms. But let's get 100 on YouTube. And if you're following us on YouTube, go follow us on Twitch too. Give us love on both platforms. And yeah, man. So as always, I'm Mr. MWO, and with me is
Mr. Shooting Star Press. Like he said, go follow us, go subscribe, go download, go rate us, go review us, all that fun stuff. We think we're a hidden gem of the podcast world, and we think we're getting better each week, but we want to hear from y'all. So let us know, because we're going to take silence or no news as good news. But if you guys have things that we can improve on, tweaks, anything, let us know, and by going and leaving us some reviews.
All right.
Hopefully they're good reviews.
They always have been. So far. All right. Thank you so much.
All right.